Welcome back, developers. We have a character that runs, jumps, and detects the ground perfectly. Our mechanics are becoming rock solid, but let's be honest, standing on a plain white rectangle is pretty boring. So today we're officially moving out of the prototype phase and stepping into the shoes of a level designer. We're going to utilize a two-dimensional rendering system to set up our digital canvas and prepare to paint a beautiful world. Let's get started. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to use the tile-based rendering system and how that works, create a 2D rectangular grid and tile map in the hierarchy, open and dock the tile palette window, create a new palette and organize folder structures, and convert slice sprites into usable tile assets. So a real quick housekeeping comment. So up at the top, because our variables, we're getting more of them, to keep things neat and tidy, I added a couple of headers. You do this by adding the line, the square brackets first, then the word header, followed by parentheses, and then inside quotation marks I put player stats, and that'll be where all the things that has to do with the player statistics are going to go. And then I added a header for the ground checks as well by doing square brackets, header, parentheses and quotation marks, then put ground checks into the quotation marks. Once I save that, if I look over here in the inspector with the player selected, you'll see that it gave two labels up at the top, and that's just to keep things neat and tidy so we don't have to search through a whole bunch of stuff to find what we need later on. So let's ask ourselves first, how does a 2D tile-based rendering system actually work? Think of it like graph paper or a bucket of Lego bricks. If we want to build a massive floor, we could drag out 100 individual dirt sprites into our scene one by one, but that's incredibly messy to organize and it's terrible for your computer's performance. Instead, we use a tile map, which uses a perfectly aligned grid. It takes all of our tiny squares of artwork and stitches them together into one highly optimized, easy to manage object. Alright, let's put one in our game. We'll go ahead and right click in our hierarchy space, go down to 2D object, and we're going to go to tile map, and then we're going to click on rectangular. Notice that Unity actually created two objects for us. The parent object called the grid. This is the math. It's the invisible graph paper that decides exactly how big each square is. Nested underneath it is this tile map. This is the transparent sheet of glass that we're actually going to paint our texture work onto. So let's go ahead and name this to be floor. And then we can delete our white rectangle. If our tile map is the canvas, then we need a paintbrush. So let's go to the very top, click on window, go to 2D, and then click on tile palette. It opened up for me on a different window, so I'm going to drag this over here into our project, and I'm going to go ahead and probably just put it here next to our project right here. So it's to the left of the inspector. Now, before we build our palette, we need to manage and organize our game assets effectively. So we're going to go into our project window, and we're going to create a new folder and name it tiles. So right click on assets, go to create, click on folder, and as always, since this is going to be something for our game, we're going to do underscore and then type in tiles. Now in your tile palette window, we're going to click create a new palette. We need to name it, so we're going to name this terrain palette. Then we're going to press create. Now Unity is going to ask you where you want to save this data. We're going to choose that new tiles folder that we just made. Alright, we have our wooden palette board, but it doesn't have any paint on it yet, so let's get our art. Let's go inside our art folder. We're going to go into this crystal world, There are some that are sliced, but we do need to practice slicing things some more. So let's go ahead and click on Crystal World. We'll click on this first one that says main level, and we're going to go over here into our inspector under sprite mode, choose multiple. Now I'm going to tell you this is 16. I think 16 is going to be best. We'll try 32 and we'll see how it looks. But I think it's going to end up needing to be 16. Let's apply. Let's go into our sprite editor and let's slice it up. Grid by cell size. That's at 64. Let's go to 32 and let's slice it up and see how it looks. Okay, grid by cell size, and let's go to 16. I think 16 is going to be better for us. If we need to grab a large group when we're painting, we'll be able to grab it, and so that's fine. So we'll go with 16. Go ahead and press apply. And you can close that. Now when we open it up, that's all applied. So for the rest of this part, let's go to move our tile palette over here to the inspector side to make things easier. And with this main level set of sprites open, we can actually just drag this over here into our tile palette. And so what it's going to do is we're going to create a pop-up folder again. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. Make sure that you are in your tiles folder to save it in. It's going to ask you to select the folder and save it, and then what it's going to do is it's going to start converting those files into mathematical tile assets that snap to the grid. So it only takes about a second, and then boom, now we have our tile palette ready to go. Excellent work today. We've officially set up our canvas with the grid. We loaded our paintbrush up with the tile palette. Make sure to save your project using Ctrl+S. In the next video, the fun really begins. We're going to use these tools to physically paint our level, and we will learn how to add Tilemap collider so our character can actually run and jump on our beautiful new artwork. Keep learning, keep building. I'll see you in the next video.